Recording.
Lovely stuff.
Okay, so wait, rapido, right?
Yes. So the
Rapido.
last 3 games I think were games I played as a daily game, as like as a daily rapid game. I won the first one and then lost the second two. But in both of the second two, I was winning and then crumbled. I let myself get into time trouble and just made a few blunders. And the yesterday's game was the one that was most painful because I was I was quite happy with my position, and then I even said on camera like, let's not lose this. Yesterday I lost
No,
in the winning position.
famous
I was like,
last
let's
words.
yeah. I took a moment to myself. I took a moment to say like, let's get this. Let's sort this one. And I managed to still lose it. So that was tough.
See, I like that you made probably unconsciously you made an adjustment in the language there, which is what I wanted to tell you to try to be mindful of. The
Okay.
let's not screw this up is the mentality that is likely to lead to screw ups. The let's
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
this to bed is the likely
Yeah.
mentality that is going to help you to win. So the focus
Yeah.
is to let's go to town on this one now because it's in the bag, opposed to the woo, I better not stuff this up, I'm winning. Because
Yeah.
one is a very confident, pedal to the metal approach, whereas the other one is the oh, what, I'm winning, woo, that's
Mm,
scary,
yeah.
I better not stuff this up now. That nah.
Yeah. Just
So
like
yeah,
hold on to my advantage, scared
yeah,
and
nah.
and
You
concerned. Yeah.
you need to go for the throat. Okay,
I think you'll see that I tried to go for the throat, but I just did it poorly.
right.
I just
Okay,
made some mistakes. Yeah, so you'll see.
cool. D4 is your move ban here before we go on knight f3. It's a minor inaccuracy. Probably the engine wouldn't even label it as such. It's all G. D4
Yep.
C6. And what you do here, friend, is what we need to do almost all the time when we get pinned very early on, which is what?
Break the pin.
That is what you did, but there is a better option than that.
Okay. So when you get pinned early on, get out of the pin by castling. In this case, if it's your king,
All
like
right,
trying to move
so
that piece out the
maybe
way.
maybe we haven't come across this concept yet, which is very good because we are going to learn a new one. Ben, the first thing when you get pinned
Okay.
like this is you go like, "Show me what you want,"
Okay.
because this
Yeah.
move
Ask the question.
asks a question and it keeps them honest in a
Mm.
very annoying fashion. Because the logic behind this, Ben, is that a pin is almost never made to be given up. Right?
Yeah.
That's not the reason why they make a pin is a value. You don't make something valuable to then destroy it, right? If you create something of value, you want to hang on to it as long as you can and try to benefit
Yeah.
from it. So a pin is created to maintain it. So after h3, we right away know that they're not going to take. But if they go
Yeah. And
back to
also develop
h3,
my
h5,
queen.
yeah, then of course
Yep.
it brings the queen in. Then you go like, yeah, come again, buddy. And now
Okay.
you chase the bishop around a fair bit, and then you jump into the center. Knight c4 is coming, and we are in some semi opening theory territory here.
Nice.
And you don't
Okay.
need to worry about
Like
the
this.
loose king side because at least half of the times in the Scandi we castle this way anyway.
Nice. Brilliant. Yeah.
So now we can go knight c4 and chase the queen, or you can even go after the bishop at h4.
Would you
Yeah.
keep the if the bishop didn't move in that next move, would you take the bishop or leave the knight in the center
No.
and say
So the motive that you want to see, and I should have done this, or I should have shown it to you. So this is what it looks like. Let's say I play. Actually, knight f6 just... Okay, I'll play 2 bozo moves to demonstrate the point. So I take bishop e4 out of the equation. And then I play h4. And now there is no adequate way for black to stop this. The only way to stop h5 from winning the bishop is to push one of these pawns. At which point, when you take, you absolutely shatter the pawn structure.
Yeah, nice.
Double pawns, isolated pawn, weak white squares all over the shop. So you don't want to cash in on this too soon, because often you can accomplish far more by doing this threat first. The reason why we needed bishop g2 is because after h4, h5 is not a threat yet. Because bishop e4 and the pin is on. So you can actually deal with that by playing bishop d2 instead. That's also a potential way to deal with this. But definitely h3, g4, and just go after them like crazy. Bishop e2 is way too passive, and as such, we don't go there. 97
Okay.
castles, okay, castles, okay. Bishop f4.
Well,
All right.
do you want me to explain why I did that? I just like that
I know why you did it, but do go ahead. I want to hear it.
Well, I like the idea that it sort of cramped the black king because it's looking at c7 and b8.
Yes, that's great.
It's a developing move as well.
You do know this very famous checkmate motif when you sack a queen here, they take and then bishop here mate. I don't know what it's called. I never knew mate names.
It's funny because I actually missed a mate in 2, which at some point in the game, and I missed it because of that.
Pattern recognition party, and I'm just going to play a few balls or moves for the hell of it, just so that we understand what's going on. So if you have never seen this, then this lesson was already worth waking up for. Takes and takes. This is one of those checkmate patterns that you absolutely must know. So
beautiful. No, I do know it. I didn't I didn't engage my brain enough in the game to see that I had it actually at one point.
Well, look, when you play bishop f4, if I hate to tell you this, but your pattern recognition is not 100% functional if when playing bishop f4, this doesn't cross your mind.
Yeah,
like it's not reality, but it should be in the back of your mind that one day I might go for that because the bishop is already poised to go to a6, so it's not so far-fetched. You shouldn't actively play for it because it's not something you can pursue because your pieces need to be on squares that are very unlikely you can execute. But if they happen to contribute, so be it. Okay, queen d3 was a little bit weird. Here's my first question to you, sir. What are we supposed to do when kings are castled to the opposite side?
So push pawns.
Right, so traditionally, we go after the opponent's king, and quite traditionally too, it is often accomplished by a pawn storm. Right? So, on that note, can you give me a couple of ideas that would allow you to conduct said pawn storm?
So, a3 and b4.
Bingo, my friend, bingo. So, this is the exception to the rule when you make coach happy by playing doggy ears. Or bunny ears. Because both of them served proper purposes, in particular a3 with b4, b5. Man, you are gonna rip this king completely naked in the next 4 moves. Now look at this. e6, b4, I don't even know where the queen goes. For argument's sake, let's go queen f5, I pull back here. And b5 next, and I'm knocking on the door already. And they're not even close to hurt you on the king side whatsoever. Another idea that crossed my mind, Ben, here was the instant b4, which is viciously aggressive. And the idea is that now we have got the open b5 to work with. Very unfortunate is the fact that the knight is hanging, so I can't play rook b1.
That sounds,
But perhaps after queen b4, with a subsequent rook fb1, whoa, this is again looking like party time, man. It is
b4 is a very nice move.
Yeah, but
I'll know I've made it. I'll know I've made a big improvement in my game when I play a move like b4 and like Andras.
Yeah, that's it. And if you want to play, you know, as you set it as a goal, beautiful chess, then I think objectively speaking, a3 is better because in the b4 line, I couldn't quite see against knight d5 a good way to respond because the last thing we want to do is a queen trade. And knight d5, queen d2, and now the knight doesn't really have a good jump anywhere, so it might not be good enough for more than an equality, and so I would probably go a3, b4, and then go for it, man.
Okay.
So and queen d3 misses the mark in the sense that bishop g6 is going to come with a tempo, and then you have to come back, so that was a bit yucky. Whoa, and that was me pressing the wrong button.
Holy hell, how did we end up getting checkmate?
Oh, special chess coach skills. Yeah, so the issue, Ben, here is that we are completely playing on the wrong side of the board.
Okay.
And completely 180. So I understand that you want to hunt the bishop, but it would have been far more productive once again to go after the queen and the king, really. Okay, that looks to me like a very smart way to lose a piece. So knight takes e4 and then knight takes back on d2 and we just won the game, no?
Yeah. They spent 5.5 minutes thinking about that move, so I was like
Oh
thinking I
my
must have
god,
missed something.
please tell me they didn't do bishop c2, rook c1, and then you missed rook c6, bishop a6 mate. No, that's not what happened, is it?
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, Ben! What's happening
Oh no!
with
I
the
know.
mate?
I even.
The
Yeah.
mate
I was.
patterns.
I said I've done so many checkmate in twos in the last few weeks as well. Like
Matey.
I'm drowning in mate in twos, and then I get one on the board and I didn't even see it.
Man, you would have danced around your computer.
I know. I would have been.
And
I'd have
the
been so
neighbors
happy.
would have been going like, what is this weird singing of this guy in the neighborhood going crazy, talking about chess pieces.
Why is he stripped off and got naked and he's just dancing around his room like this?
Exactly. And then you go like, it's because I delivered the Bowden mate. I don't know the mate, by the way. I never knew mates.
I think it might be the Bowden mate.
It might be the Bowden, yeah. So rook c1. Oh, this is out of the game. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look, this is what I have to tell you. I hope, it's a really cruel thing to say, I hope that it sucked and hurt so much.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. This is how you learn. It hurts. It annoys you so much. Yeah.
Never ever.
So
miss this again.
I can tell you what happened in my mind. It's funny because I saw that the bishop would take the pawn, and then I thought, okay, well I'll just come over with the f rook, and I thought, okay, the bishop doesn't have any retreating squares along the b1 h7 diagonal. I thought because I can cover all those squares. I thought it won't go back that way. I thought it will go to a4, and then I can actually win the bishop like that. So I go b3, chasing it to b5, and then I can take the bishop with my bishop, and it's pinned the rook, pinning the pawn. So when that didn't happen, I was just like, oh, okay, that idea that I'd spent a while thinking about it isn't there. And I just too quickly just took the bishop because that was my original plan. That's why the knight's there. And so I should have paused for a minute and thought, okay, what I've actually got here, rather than, oh, look, I can win that bishop like I wanted to before.
The irony, Ben, is that you can still do it here.
I know. It's still on. I know. I saw that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The excuse of winning the bishop isn't there now. So.
Right, now it's gone.
Yeah, now it's gone.
Now, one thing you need to definitely get good at, Ben, and this is not exactly the pretty part of chess, is to comfortably win these very, very, very clearly winning positions, and it's a skill.
Yeah.
And it takes a fair bit of practicing. So we will see how.
And I've seen your advice on this as well, which is just when you're winning, you still need to play the absolute best moves. And I've seen you analyzing people's games where you're like, why did you do that? Why did you try and save that pawn? Like that's not the important bit. Like try and win the game. And I think in this position, in a couple of positions, I think you'll go, okay, I see that you were actually trying to do that. But like that knight move, I know the knight move missed a mate in two, but the knight move was meant to be a positive move. I can't remember what other move I was thinking about, but I think I discounted a less positive move, a more passive move, thinking, okay, let's get the knight moving forward. Let's get my pieces into the game. I didn't crawl up in a ball and start defending. But yes, I do think I need to develop the ability to win winning positions.
Yeah, look, discounting the mate, knight e4 is a good move because it threatens knight g5 as well as knight d6. But after knight b6, Ben, this is hanging, man, and you can't.
I didn't notice that.
You can't be generous like that when you are in an endgame. In endgame, pawn's value is high, so like it or not, we had to come back and defend that boy. And what
it wasn't an intention. It was just a miss.
Yeah, this is good. It's totally fine with the idea of breaking with b5. It's a great plan. It's just very poorly timed. Because you have
you wanted a3, but not when I'm losing a pawn in the center.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so your opponent was completely oblivious to it too. We still are completely oblivious to it. Oh no.
They catch on.
And now you need to be almost a bit creative to not to lose the piece back. Yeah, and I think you were, because now after f5 you get to come back to e3.
Yeah, which is what I said in the game. And then as soon as they played f5, I thought, ooh, I can be more aggressive. and I can move my bishop to e5.
Yeah, but
which is a
then you
bad
get
move
attacked
because
again. So the idea of bishop
yeah,
e3
yeah.
then is that you have got two pieces hanging, or one is hanging, but if it moves, the other one is too. So you want to secure both. And actually, this would have been very clean. Bishop e5, however, complicated things immensely.
Yeah.
Now you need really, really good skills to recover from this. Having said that, Ben, can you please let's do a bit of a calculation exercise here. Tell me what would happen if we took this. Did it happen? Yeah, it did. Okay.
It did happen, and then they moved their rook to exactly where I could have forked it with the knight, but
Ben,
I missed that in the game.
The whole entire point of taking this is that either rook move is met by a knight fork, which is then protected by the bishop. If you don't see that bishop takes g7 is a wasteful move, because all it does is that it hangs another piece.
Yeah, but I could get the knight out of dodge.
You're telling me you didn't see it.
No, the other way. I mean, so that's what I ended up doing.
Right. Okay.
But I didn't. Yeah. As soon as I went to look at the game, I saw that I had that knight.
That's fair.
On f6.
But look, knight e3 is just as good. It essentially does the same thing, because it doesn't have to be a fork. The point is that the knight moves away with
just a tempo,
so that when the rook buggers off, the bishop can bugger off too. So that's fair game.
Yeah.
That's fair game, and we are still completely winning.
Well, then the bishop move to h6 was just me being silly as well. I should have moved the bishop back to e5.
Yes.
e5 would have been lovely, and that was a
that was a bit of a boo boo, but
because I'm like, that's just like a move that's just a one move threat on a rook without me noticing that it can be stopped with the pawn.
Yes. So a way to deal with that, Ben, would have been to play h4 here.
Yeah, and I considered that as well.
As in,
I just thought that it was a bit slow.
Not blundering this bishop. It's not slow at all, because what h4 does is it allows your bishop to escape anytime you want. Because the pawn can't move because it's pinned.
Yeah, I think if I had more time on the clock, I would have seen that h4 was better than what I actually played.
I mean, you played a move that is very logical, king f1. In fact, it was to some degree forced, because bishop takes and rook takes e2 was threatened.
Yeah.
So part of me is quite proud of the fact that you played king f1. The downside is this ugly one there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I would have liked Ben here to try to neutralize a little bit of this activity going on here in our face. Rooks on the 7th or on the 2nd are mighty power. That is one of the core principles from the good old Nimzovich. And so trading this rook is very much in your interest. This pin is debatable whether it will have any meaning or not, because I'm not in a hurry to jump anywhere. I want to come in and double up on the 2nd, because if there is one thing that is more mighty than a rook on the 2nd, is 2 rooks on the 2nd. And this pin is also awkward. So your choice of rook move is perhaps wrong here. I guess you wanted to move out of a potential discovery, but I don't exactly see where this rook can go where it would hurt me that my rook is then hanging. So if they take, I take back, and then it's totally fine. It's just a trade. If the rook goes back on the d file, then you just follow the rook on the d file. So I dislike the rook choice here, because now this rook is very, very goofy.
Yeah, I think my moves start to become less and less high quality at this point. Like I put myself in another pin. I managed to hang a knight.
That boy is hanging. I mean, it's rough.
Yeah.
But again, perhaps king e1. Because c3 right now is not hanging, so you don't need to guard it. Yeah, king e1 would have done the trick, because it forces the rook to go back. And when it does, then you're good to go back here where you want it to go. You missed, Ben, a lot of boats just by the tiniest margins in this game.
Yeah. By
the tiniest of margins, which is very frustrating, by the way, to experience. Even g4 is a good idea. Like, structurally, that's a very sound move. In fact, we have very serious drawing chances here. Okay, not after that. It's very awkward
I
because
rushed.
the
I
two,
rushed that.
yeah, the two obvious rook moves both lose to rook d2. Perhaps
Yeah.
take was a bit premature, or rather you should have taken this
Pushed maybe.
and then bring the king up, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks very sus to me because the bishop is very effectively holding both the f pawns as well as the h1, and if the king gets a d5, it's gonna be a carnage. So yeah, but it was an interesting one, Ben. The mate patterns, man, mate patterns are to be reconsidered and reworked because opportunities like this don't arise every game.
I know.
Like, you should celebrate
into
mate every opportunity like this by extremely vicious immediate punishments. All right, let's have a look at the other one. This doesn't look like a happy scenario either. Based on the color and the king that got mated. Dragonista. Ben the Dragonista. Ben, I am a very, very big advocate of logic in chess. And you, as a former maths teacher, you will find beauty in this. Every single time my students do something like this, I'm genuinely baffled, where my bafflement can almost be not resolved at all. Hear my logic out. Ben plays g6.
Oh, well.
Yeah?
Yep.
If I'm playing white...
Surely he's going to play g7.
He's going to play bishop g7, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, why ever else would you play g6? So I'm playing bishop e3, and I'm not even putting my pen down, my proverbial pen with which people back in the day used to write the so-called score sheets. Yeah? So I write down bishop e3, I have already pressed the clock, and I'm not putting the pen down because I'm anticipating bishop g7 to hit in less than 2 seconds. And then you play queen a5, I would fall off my chair. Like, where did
I'm playing a psychological game, Andras.
And mate, you
point.
caught me with that psychology like an absolute trooper. Like, what on earth is that? Like, how does that mesh together, gel together with g6?
I thought I was because they developed their bishop to e3. I thought I was forcing the bishop back to d2 whilst getting a queen out.
Now that would be true, Ben, if I didn't have 700 other ways to deal with this king.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Now, here is the deal, Ben. Do you know the theory of bishop e3, bishop g7 at all?
No.
I really do admire honesty. So this is the dragon. Did you know that?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of the dragon. I wouldn't be able to accurately tell you that this is the dragon.
The Sicilian dragon looks something like this. This is the so-called Yugoslav attack, by the way, which is one of the most vicious variations in it. And I'm just showing you where theory begins. This is where theory starts. We are on move 15. So here there is bishop h6, there is knight e2, there is king b1, there is pawn b3 even. There are a fair few moves here. Immense, humongous theory. Right?
Yeah, it looks scary for black. I wouldn't want to be black.
You have to have quite serious cojones at the ready to play like this. Now note the little move, Ben, f3. What that move does is it is a really multi-function move. 1, it covers the e4 pawn. 2, it allows white to play h4, g4, g5. And 3, it cuts out knight g4, which would pester the bishop on e3. Guess what move queen a5 is forcing me to play?
Yeah, the good move f3.
So
what they already want to play.
Exactly. So now, Ben, we have experienced one of the ultimate no-goes in chess, which is when you are forcing your opponent to play the correct move. Never, ever do you want to be in a scenario where your move forces the best move out of the opponent. That's not what you want, mate. But obviously you had no theory whatsoever. By the way, this is definitely a line that you could entertain playing and studying, the dragon. Because if you want to play fun chess and beautiful chess, the dragon was the ultimate choice.
Okay.
So that's
That's
where
got a fun name as well.
that yeah. By the way, do you know why it's called a dragon? A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people get even more confused when they learn it.
Is it because it looks like a dragon's, like the pawn structure looks like a dragon,
You
spiky dragon?
did
I
you?
don't know.
Oh, be honest with me, please. Now you must be honest with me. Have you heard it before? Or you
I
just
don't know.
came up with that on the spot now? Because that's the explanation.
I
That
don't know.
apparently
It's
this
easy.
pawn
It's easy for me
structure
to forget.
looks like a dragon. How? How does that look like a dragon, man?
Well, it's they're always named after the point. Well, the hippo or
Whatever.
the hedgehog.
Whatever.
Maybe I've heard it before.
Maybe you have. Maybe you have. Okay, let's move on.
I feel like I'm inventing something.
Knight g4 is a move that you always want to consider when there is a bishop on e3 and vice versa when there is a black bishop on e6. Because this bishop is like a chewing gum in someone's hair. It's holding it together beautifully, right? That's a Simon Williams call, by the way. Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely brilliant, right? So if that's gone, we are gone. Or they are gone.
I love the idea of someone holding their own hair together by chewing gum.
Yeah,
That's their
delightful.
technique.
That's. I mean, if you have a good look at me, you can understand that I
That's
have
what
very
we tried.
limited
Yeah.
experience, and likewise you. So you and I, we don't really appreciate the beauty of someone sticking a chewing gum in your hair and then you having to get rid of it and then wash your hair 700 times, yada yada yada. Yeah, no, it just peels off, like no problems. Anyway, so the idea, just to talk a bit of chess, is that a bishop can't move because the knight is hanging, and if this trade takes place, oh boy, that basically promotes this bishop from bishop to royal commander of the naval army and son. Like this guy is now an absolute ripper. Like that, the dragon wet dreams are made of this trade, right? Now there is a slight ointment in the fly, or rather a fly in the ointment, which is that it's often met by a check, which looks like the most irrelevant response, especially if I make it legal. But there is an issue here, and the issue is that you would want to block on this check with something on d7. However, there is a little boo-boo here, Ben. What's the boo-boo?
The queen can take the knight.
Bingo! In fact, I can be very mundane and take the bishop first, but if you are a sexy chess player like me, you would just take it right away.
Bam, yeah.
Bam. Bam indeed. So knight g4 is not quite on yet, but if we castle here, or play knight c6 per game, then now we are threatening genuinely to play knight g4. Knight b3, queen back. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we going all the way? Why not here?
Because knight b5 I thought was annoying to me.
But then Ben, you slide back, and then the knight is misplaced, and you will kick and kick.
I think that's my lack of good chess like brain here, because I didn't see knight on b5 being misplaced. Yeah, I just thought, oh, yeah, the knight's closer to me. It's threatening the check, the fork on c7. And I yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
What makes this knight misplaced then? How could you convince me that that's a misplaced knight?
Well, by telling you that it does nothing. It has zero functions. It's imagine that I can't exactly give you an analogy, because if I played knight b4, that would actually make sense. Actually, that's a good analogy, or that's a good contrast. Like, have a look at these two knights and compare what they do. My knight is threatening to eliminate your bishop and have the two bishops. Your knight is floating in air. It does nothing. It attacks nothing that is not guarded. It's essentially a bully target. It's completely meaninglessly placed here.
And we're going to castle. Black's going to castle in the next couple of moves and get out of the fork.
Yeah, but the other thing, Ben, that you don't have enough experience with, and therefore your appreciation of it is limited, is the fact that in many a Sicilian, Black plays a6, b5, and develops the bishop to b7, and the knight is headfirst just in it right now with a6 coming with a tempo.
Okay, so yeah, in this case, Black's doing the thing which you mentioned, sort of White's. If White went knight b5, then Black gets to play the move they wanted to play in the first place.
The only reason to
cool.
the only way to justify a knight b5 for White here is that it allows White to play c4 and obtain the so-called Marozzi bind.
Okay.
which is these 2 pawns basically
Bind on
creating an
d5.
awkward bind on the entirety of the center, and then drop the knight back. This is a way to strategically justify knight b5, but that's about it. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay.
Queen d8, queen d2, knight g4. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I was about to say that now, though, we don't really have an adequate answer to bishop f4, and I was dreading to see this. So,
Yeah.
can you, Ben, tell me downsides of this move?
Blocks in the bishop. My bishop
on
g7, which we don't want to have its eyes closed, and
mate, it's more than its eyes
d6.
closed. It's unconscious for the next 7 decades.
Yeah, it makes d6.
It's not a little snooze here. It is gone, like knocked out and some. Sorry, I distracted you there. So
no, it's good. It's good to drive it home. So knocks that guy out. He's hibernating, and then it also puts the d6 pawn. It makes that a backwards pawn.
Right, but it's not the end of the list, Ben. There is one more that really stings. Which is another positional concept.
The knight on g4 doesn't have the e5 square now. Is that right?
That's not that big of a deal because really. You can come back elsewhere. Okay. What square have you weakened dramatically by doing this? In fact, irreparably, just so that I don't talk too much dramatic stuff. Irreparable weakness, aka out.
I mean, both the d6 and f6 squares are now irreparably holes.
Well, d6 isn't because you have a pawn on it.
But it's still a hole. It doesn't have a pawn that can protect d6.
No, you don't call a square that is occupied by a pawn a weak square. Friend, this is the square that you weaken dramatically.
Okay.
f6 is weak, you can argue that, but it's covered by so many black pieces it's irrelevant and it's too deep in the territory. The same way how you don't call c7 weak.
Okay.
Because it's just unrealistic for white to...
you can never have a pawn protecting c7.
Engineer a plan that would exploit that. But d5, hello.
Okay.
Bang spank in the middle of the center.
Yeah.
So basically, Ben, what we did with this, to use the language of soccer, football, correctly known amongst humans, is that we scored 3 own goals. 3.
In one move. Efficient.
And scored none on the other side, because at this point I was about to tell you to now list the goods that come with this move, but it's a blank sheet. Kings the bishop. Yay! Yeah, so it's a big learning, Ben, that in the dragon, e5 999 times out of 1,000 is a catastrophic positional blunder.
Should I so just to give you the amateur's mind on this?
Yeah, please.
I was trying to get the bishop off the h6 c1 diagonal, because the queen's on that same diagonal. I was concerned about it trading itself off for my g7 bishop.
Right. So hear me out, Ben. Here,
over concerned, I'm sure.
Yeah, the mentality here, Ben, is that you hear a truck approaching, and you're really annoyed by the noise it's making, so you decide to walk right in front of it. And you don't need the noise anymore. That's what happens here, right? Perhaps the analogy was a bit dark, but you get the point.
I liked it.
So, yeah, I get it that you're not excited about this trade, but in the end of the day, let's say that I allow this to happen. I have completed development. All of my pieces are on decent squares. My king is not exactly easy to get to. So, yes, this plan does exist to trade the fianchetto bishop. Is it the end of the world? No. But e5 is really close to be the end of the world. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Castles, h6 back. And by the way, the irony, Ben, and I also want you to understand this, is that because of this bishop is so bad now, you should be happy to be rid of it. You actually created a scenario where the last thing you want is this bishop. Because it's so bad.
Please trade it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If white could somehow come around here, I would pay them money to play this. Right? Please do. I mean, look at this bishop, mate. right? So this is their good bishop as far as the structure is concerned, and this is your good bishop. So if they trade their good bishop for their bad one, you go like, woohoo, baby, bring it. Oh no, Ben. Oh,
Well, I didn't know this is your idea, Andras. I didn't have your voice in my ear, so I was still on the train of no. I want to keep my G7 bishop.
mate.
And I knew that was coming. You see, I knew that it was just about to do what you were hoping it would, and I knew I wasn't going to allow it.
What a trooper you are. Now, we can safely assume, though, that your opponent's plan was never to do this, but to play 95. Against which, Ben, the appropriate response would have been bishop e6.
Yep.
And I tell you why. Because 9 people out of 10 on this level do not understand the concept of weak squares. And when they see one, they jump into it.
Yeah.
It's like a very, very basic makeshift trap to catch silly animals who still walk into it after, having seen it 700 times, and they still follow the trail of corns and walk into the trap. That's the same story here. Because
that's what you see when you see 1,400 players.
The idea of a weak square is that you only occupy a weak square, such as d5, with a piece, if you can recapture on it with
a piece.
If it's a pawn, that by definition plugs in the weak square, and it no longer is.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see that.
A weak square.
Yeah.
And now your pawns are ready to roll. So you will move your knight and then f5, then e4, the knight goes into e5, and we turn this catastrophe into a marvelous position. And most 1400s simply do not have this notion of they understand that it's a weak square. They know that they're supposed to put something in there, but they don't follow it through. That, like, what's the point of putting it in there if that gets captured, right? Like, it loses its value instantly. Whereas imagine if in this position this knight was, let's say, just for argument's sake here, I would take back with the knight, restating the knight on d5 or re-establishing a knight on d5. Now black has far fewer resources to kick it out, so in fact my grip on the square got even stronger.
Nice.
This is positional chess 101 for you.
Yep, I'm with you.
Good. Yeah, so I don't like this move, Ben, because it seems to me that we are a little bit gung-ho optimists about what's happening.
I'm embarrassed to explain why I had a complete mental brain fart when I made this move.
Did you think that this was on?
Yeah, but I thought the queen. I thought I could sacrifice. It was just I saw the move c3 in response, and my brain, when I went, okay, that doesn't work, so I didn't even make the move initially, the knight jump initially, and then for some reason I mixed up c3 happening with f3 happening. And I thought I can take f3 with the queen. It's just all messed up in my mind. And then I can take the pawn with the knight, forking the queen and the king, and then win, trade the queen. And I've won a pawn, and it's like a silly over-the-top way to win a pawn. And then as soon as they played c3, I went, oh, that's stupid. That's not on. And so I came back. So that was just me being just, I don't even know how to describe that.
That was probably getting a bit too excited, Ben.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking I can do a fun move.
I would like to show you, though, that there is a tactical idea here for black. So, for example, if I play a random boo-boo like this, can you tell me a move that actually does win a pawn for black? Which is a tactic.
Okay, so bishop takes h3.
Bingo! Bishop takes h3, and then g2 pawn has to... Well, if the g2 pawn captures, then you have got the forkerino, yeah?
Nice.
That's it. But unfortunately, after c3, bishop takes h3 does not have the oomph that we want for it to work, and they simply take d4 and we cry. So that was a very sad donation of 2 moves to the opponent.
Yeah.
Okay. What is our plan here, Ben?
So I want to push f5.
Okay. I don't mind that. Can you offer me an alternative?
Yep. Let me try. Play d5 straight away,
Okay.
whilst the bishop covers it, and the bishop on d3 stops the queen seeing it.
Yes, which is actually a little bit of a concerning thing, because then you would assume that there will be tactics based on this bishop jumping away and then the bishop is on. But it can only go here, which we can take, and then it becomes a trade.
Yeah.
But then if you bugger off with the queen from f6, then f5 is gonna hit like a truck. So what I'm suggesting, friend, is that to me the central break, which should be by default your more preferred method, seems to accomplish things more efficiently and faster.
Yeah.
Because
for some reason I just never even considered it in the game. I don't know why my mind doesn't go there.
The opposite of a weak square, Ben, or rather the opposing strategy. So one side tries to occupy that square, the other side tries to break out from it and eliminate it altogether. So if the previous scenario when I cheated and put the knight on b4 and then jumped into d5 was White's dream scenario, then we need to contrast that with this. Like, because this eliminates all your problems you ever had. In contrast to that, by the way, your queen e7 f5 plan, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. But it doesn't accomplish that. So let's say that I play rook d1, we play f5, take, and if anything, the weakness of the light squares have been enhanced rather than make it go away, because now you don't have the light squared bishop that has the ability to control these squares. And you have the bad bishop. Now, I didn't mean to blunder the d6 pawn, but I did. But the point is that if I just conquer the open, the d5 square, you can see that it's gonna be a major hassle for you to kick anything out of here. And if I manage to route this knight around here on e4, this is what we call a complete domination of a color complex. In this case, it's the white color complex, where all the weak light squares are blockaded by my pieces. And what that does, by the way, it's a very, very powerful visual thing. So I'm going to show you this by playing a few bozo moves. Is that it restricts the pawns from moving, which in turn entirely restricts the black army, because I just can't utilize my minor pieces at all.
Yeah.
Now the h2 bishop is a red hot piece of garbage too, but maybe one day I can reroute that. But the bishop on g7 is not gonna be rerouted anywhere. It's gonna be rerouted to the rubbish bin at the best case scenario. So I'm not having a go at your plan f5. I merely am telling you that d5 would
No,
have
it's
been
really useful.
far better.
It's really useful, because I just never even saw d5. Which, as soon as I go through it with you, I'm like, yeah, d5. That looks reasonable. So there needs to be some shift in my the selection of candidate moves that I sort of present to myself, because I should at least look at d5 and be like, okay, let's try it and see if it works.
Yeah. Okay, f5. Oh, wait. Did they play rook d1? No, they... Oh, what?
I know.
Hello?
I don't know why.
Oh, I do. I have a very strong candidate for or idea why this was played. Mouse slip. They wanted to play f3, maybe.
Okay.
Do you have chat disabled during these games? Did they say anything?
I didn't see it. I don't think they said anything.
I mean, the alternative is that I put the respectful notion aside and I just say that, well, 1400. But that would be too crude. Good take.
Does chess.com allow take-backs?
No.
Or do they just...
No, but, even then... Actually, I think there is an
option. They would sometimes just say misclick.
Look, even just the notion of you typing misclick sometimes clarifies things. I think that if you can resolve one of the most complex mathematical equations, and you are mighty good at code cracking, there is somewhere very well hidden in the options on .com the button that allows you to enable takebacks.
I see. Okay.
But I think no human has ever discovered it yet.
Okay.
Right? It's like the philosopher's stone. We know that it might exist, but not really.
But it's not.
Yeah.
We've never seen it. So when they played that move, I thought that they maybe were looking to sacrifice something, and then they ended up sacrificing something. So if they misclicked, it was a weird move to then take with the bishop, I think.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
think they were just like,
You're
okay,
right.
let's sacrifice the bishop and let's tear the king side open, and the black will lose.
But
I
then
mean, black
again,
did lose
there is
for different
another
reasons.
argument to this, which is that they did mouse sleep, and then they just went like, okay, whatever, screw it, I don't care, and they just started throwing random stuff at you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's a neat move. The alternative that popped up in my mind was queen g5 because it pins the knight.
Ah, very
And
nice.
it
Yeah, didn't see that.
begins controlling the dark squares, but as does knight e5, so no problemo. But now I would definitely play queen g5. Although it does hang queen d6, but then see this, Ben, this is how beautiful chess is gonna come around. So queen g5, queen d6, rook d8. Hitting the queen, queen buggers off, rook d2, hitting the bishop, and now I'm tickling the g2 square, which might lead to a tragically quick mate.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Okay, not probably the nicest way to win, but maybe one of the most effective one. Now, Ben, is when the situation is begging for queen g5. Because it denies the pin, it offers queen trade. It's just the ultimate move to play. Yeah, this is very sad. Like, somehow, I don't know how, but you were completely blindsided to this.
Yeah,
and
didn't see it
it's
at all.
such a basic, simple idea, right? Let's trade queens. Let me hit with a tempo. Piece up. You want to trade anyway, man. Like, that's the position. That's the move that, you know, it's not a chickening out with queen trade. No, it's the fastest route to victory. Because it eliminates all hopes of counterplay too. I also say this, Ben, a lot to my students and in various videos, that when you are winning, almost always the most effective way to win a game is to break your opponent. And by breaking the opponent, I mean shattering the hopes, removing the faintest hope of survival that they might be clinging onto. Those are the things you want to take away from them. In this regard, with other words, you need to be extremely cruel, sadistic almost. Like you go like, you want knight h5 and you want to create a mate threat? Haha, try again. Queen trade, baby. That's what we want. And this really makes them go like, oh, not that one. Okay, I had enough of this. Like, that's what you want from your opponent. You want them to give up. Literally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Queen g5 still. Okay, actually, bishop b5 is quite neat. No, I will give you that. That's nice. Please, Ben, tell me we won this game. You're playing so well.
Lost this game. To spoil it. I know. It's. I think what's happening is to like one added piece of context is, and I know I have Rook G3 here, which I missed in the game, but I'm down to 45 seconds, so I'm letting myself getting down to quite low time, and they're not playing well in those below minute periods.
Okay,
which I would have thought I'd play better, but I'm just not playing better.
I so regret that I didn't say what I thought to myself, but I was gonna tell you when I say played queen d3 that now you can see that this is what they are hoping for.
Yeah, I did see that.
And as soon as you recognize that, you once again can engineer plans to circumvent it. And once again, queen g5 would be the cleanest way to do so. Because it just brings in the big boy, and knight f6, even if it lands, it does nothing. Like, you can just 100% ignore it. Like, it does nothing. And by the way, to quite large degree, it did nothing in the game too. Like, as long as you don't take, but play something like rook g6. Or rook g7 even. Like, this is silly. Rook g6 is way better. Rook g3 winning. But as long as you just are aware of the fact that take allows e5, we are good. But if you do take now, unfortunately, this looks like a bit of a oops.
I can't remember exactly why in the game I sort of convinced myself that it's okay.
I tell you why, because after rook g6 you are still winning.
I knew that it was like allowing that pawn to move, but I should have just thought, okay, that's fine. I didn't see that pawn move would subsequently attack the bishop, but even still, like you say, there's no need to allow. It's exactly to your point about hope. I'm giving them a hope that there's that battery's open and
But again, look, you weathered the storm. This is again now completely winning. So, okay, Queen f8 is not exactly super sexy because it's ridiculously passive. It blocks the rook's path to g8. Why don't we just go to c7, bring this rook here, bring the queen up here with a check, and then transfer to here and here. You know, Ben, what the mantra is about going backwards, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that. You betrayed our most important motto, man. What medieval punishment do you think is appropriate for us to now put in place for you?
Something that involves going backwards is a sort of ironic twist.
I will think about something. Yeah, we're dropping a fair bit of timber. Yeah. Oh, yes! Yes, I was about to say that. Bring it, baby. Ooh, bishop takes. Hello, hello. Welcome to tact. Oh, there is bishop g6. Sheesh kebab. Baga. So close yet so far, hey?
Yeah. So I missed that the bishop was now on the rook in the game, and I went sort of focusing on the g2 pawn.
Yeah. Look, maybe just as simple as rook g5. Because the idea is that if they take, you take g2. If they take with the pawn, you have the penetration on g1. Although that's not made yet. But maybe after pawn takes first rook d8, and that should be completely carnage. Yeah, 91 okay, was a bit goofy because you forgot about this boy here. Oh, whoa.
Now, yeah, that was just me completely losing my mind. I was like, okay, let's if I'm going to trade that rook, I'd rather trade it in the corner on a8. And I was like, yeah, I'll just put my queen there so I can take the rook, which will take my rook, and then I'll just take it with the queen.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be really good if the opponent acquiesced, but they didn't.
Yeah. In Australia, Ben, almost every single lotto has this. This is the motto of the lotto. Wouldn't it be nice? That's the commercial on the telly for the lotto.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be nice? That's why I said that right as soon as you played it. Like,
yeah,
wouldn't it be
the
nice?
One in 13
for them
million
to take,
chance.
they said they would take back with the queen and like ruler of the world. Absolutely not. Oh man, look. On the one hand, Ben, my heart bleeds to see this. On the other hand, it's absolutely incredibly good to see how close we are to put these guys away. So that's the good news, man. All right, let's have a look at the W. Very, very rapido. Okay, I'm guessing you don't really follow any theory. You just play chess.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think.
So.
Oh no, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's. I think I did look at the theory. So I played a classical Caro-Kann game against someone much better than me, and I looked at the advanced variation, and then when they bring the bishop out to sort of get a tempo on the bishop.
Bishop f5 is the correct move here. Or not, well, not such thing. c5 isn't, but this is the main line, yes. And then there is knight f3, there is knight c3.
I played g4 in this position.
There is g4, there is h4. Yeah, there are a fair few wild variations. So what you need to know, Ben, is that against c5, there is this extremely counterintuitive move, which is dc, which is breaking the chain.
Okay.
But the idea is that the best move for black here is to play e6, and then it's basically a tempo down French, where they played c5 in two moves, c6 and then c5. And here what you tend to do is to try to keep this and give up that, quite funnily. But I don't want to go into the theoretical discussions on this. I recommend that you look it up afterward. Fun positions. So what happens is that you defend this, and then we eventually play for c4.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I haven't analysed this game yet, so I will give that a look.
Yeah, so here after CD, we don't have an adequate response because now e5 is hanging. So this is your last time to either commit to keeping the chain, which I would advise against, because now the bishop can come out, making it a really good French. So with pawn on e6, this would be a mainline French. Right? But with the pawn not being on e6, that's a benefit to black, because they can come out with the bishop first. And that's the reason why we don't want to play these c3 moves against this delayed c5 break. Because finally the delay means that e6 hasn't been played, therefore the bishop can come out. That's not good news for us. So instead of trying to keep the chain, we instead change the position. We open it up, because open positions will give more meaning to wasted tempi. Right? That's the logic. So now we are going like, okay, if you're taking 5 moves to play a central break, we are going to break, blast it open, and the better developed shall prevail, and that should be us.
Nice.
Okay, this is very sexy development, but I don't know if it's going to amount to anything. Why there, sir? Did we have a discussion about queenside castles last week? Or last lesson, rather?
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been putting the rook on d1 and opposite the queen.
Yes, so this is
on
why
an
our
open file.
best friend is Morphy, because that guy knew of the value of castling queenside and putting the rook right away on the open file. Rook e1 next.
Yeah.
And Ben is ready to go to war. And your
Yeah,
opponent
exactly.
is still very much doing the beloved backrank fest.
Yeah.
And f4, f5 is coming, and whoo, boy, this is looking like we sacked the pawn. We didn't blunder it. But castles kingside? Nay, nay, nay. Loving it, man. Loving it. Bloody hell, that is so creative. That is really good stuff, man. That is very good stuff, man. I'm very proud. That is really
good. I appreciate that. I actually saw that move before they played the bishop, so I was like, okay, if they move the bishop out, I can play that. But yeah, that's good.
Okay. Okay. I want to show you a trick, Ben. You play rook e1 here. Let's say I play a pass because I want to demonstrate the idea. And then you go knight f5. And the idea is that we want to pester this bishop because that's the chewing gum in the hair. The piece that holds everything together. You with me? And if they take, what do we do?
Yeah. Ah, take the knight.
Exactly. And now you have got free reign on the open file. Knight d5 is coming to kill the bishop. And we are absolutely slaughtering them apart. If they don't take, you are going to take this. And again, that is going to result in a lot of weak squares around the black king. But f4 is also
I didn't see it.
Very cool.
I didn't see the knight take until you actually played the pawn move. I was looking at it for the whole time, like, what's?
I could see the confusion on your face.
But then it did. Yeah, only when you made the move, I was like, oh, there it is.
The penny dropped.
Yeah.
The proverbial penny has dropped. Okay, there. Good. Yep. Yeah. Good chess, Ben. Good chess.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Hello, Blunderino. Man, this was bloody good. This is
their rook move to g5 was just
okay. That was a complete
weird.
lemon, but
yeah, they gave that, but they just didn't see the knight being taken.
Remember, Ben, that if your opponent doesn't make a mistake, you're not going to win a chess game, right? So instead, give yourself some credit here. You deserve it, man. This was super sexy. Okay, so let's see the conversion technique a little bit here. Look, the way I see this, Ben, and I don't want to sound like I'm splitting hairs here, is that
this is what we're here for.
This is just about to go.
Yeah.
For free. I'm not interested to offer that for a trade. And also, so right now you're threatening 2 pawns to be killed, right? So I would be like, and I know it may sound a little bit counterintuitive to you, but I just come back. I defend this. And now I am wishing my opponent the very best of luck with holding this and this at the same time. Whereas g4, like, just the mere fact that this is on the board just makes me go like, don't do that, man. Don't. And I know that you wouldn't fall for it. But the mere fact that we are basically preparing this scenario, half preparing it, is already so concerning to me. It's like, nah, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Now, secondly, in this position, you took with Rook. Did you not realize that knight would have created a game-winning threat?
I can't remember if I did. I think I just wanted a pair of rooks off because it's like, if they have one rook, then it's like, what are they going to checkmate me with? How are they going to win that game?
Which is very good thinking too, by the way. If only it didn't cost you a pawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm guessing you want to go here.
Yes.
I approve. Oops. I'm still guessing you want to go there. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this is why b3 in the first place wasn't exactly necessarily great, but okay, yeah, that's good. That's good problem solving. I find it a bit too soon. I would have come back with the king first to give a basis for the knight so that it's guarded there. Okay, I'm guessing we're headed for d3. Oh my god. We're definitely heading for d3.
Yeah, exactly.
Bingo. And win.
That was it.
Super cool, man. Super cool. Super cool. I'm actually going to stop the recording here in the unlikely or likely event that I YouTube this. So
nice.